Okay, so this session is on the four-year university applications, okay? So one thing I want y'all to keep in mind is that it is important to focus on being a support role as your student is driving this process. Attending a university right out of high school is going to be something where they need to start to learn how to navigate a lot of things on their own. And so it will be really important that they lead the way, but you guys support them along this entire process, okay? Okay, so one thing we want to talk about is it's really important to have an honest conversation with your child. So one thing that you want to look at is what is it that they want from the university? Do they want a large school or a small school? Do they want to be close to home or do they want to be far from home? We want to make sure that it's a good fit for them because, you know, this is something that they're going to be spending the next 4 years of their life at. So we want to make sure that does it have the major they plan to pursue? Just because they go to a university doesn't mean it's going to have the major that they want. In addition to that, does it fit the academic and financial range of what your family is looking for? So it's really important to see that those criteria are met. And it's really important that they don't apply everywhere. They don't need to apply to every single school. We really want to make sure that they're only applying to maybe the 6 or 8 really important schools, and they truly put their best effort forward in those applications. Okay, how students apply. So the applications are open for the fall 2021 school year because that is the year that they would be beginning college. You want to identify the different portals and deadlines for each of the colleges or university your child wants to apply to. Will they need to complete an application through Apply Texas or a Coalition app or the Common App, or sometimes they may have to complete an application through the college's direct website. You need to find the method that the college accepts applications, so that way you're not scrambling back and forth between making sure that you've done the right application. Okay, so Apply Texas is a major one that is used by the public colleges and universities in Texas. Common App is also one of them that's used a little bit more nationwide. The beauty with Common App is that it allows transcripts and letters of recommendations to be directly submitted through their portal. So that's one of the positive incentives with the Common App, but majority of the schools, if you're looking at applying within Texas, you're going to be using Apply Texas. Coalition App is best for students who are low income and underrepresented or the first generation students. There are specific colleges and universities that use the Coalition App. And then again, you can always use the college's direct website because sometimes they will ask you to apply directly through there. If you're not sure which one to do, best bet is if you go to undergraduate admissions, that's what the students will be applying as. You want to go to the location where it says undergraduate admissions, and it will tell you exactly which application portal they need to be using. Deadlines. Remind your child to research their school's deadlines and submit all required paperwork on time. If you don't submit the paperwork on time, what's going to happen is that you may not be able to get admission or you may miss an important scholarship. Some schools will have early deadlines in November and December, regardless of the admission decision process, and some will not have a deadline until early 2021. So it's really important to see which deadlines are coming up and when they're taking place. One thing I can recommend is maybe putting those deadlines into your calendar so that way you're aware. Your schools will typically remind you as well, but it's really important that you put those deadlines into your phone or into your calendar so you can keep track of those. Pay attention to the terminology that's coming up, whether it's early admission, if it's early decision, early action. Your child will be receiving information during their advisory class about what these different admission applications and terminologies are. Basic information that you're going to need for these applications is going to be the Social Security number if you do have that. You're going to need your legal name, so not a nickname. We need to know the legal name first, middle, and last name, and the one that's tied with their Social Security number. Their date and place of birth. A lot of times they want to know the city and location that your child was born in. Their address, their phone number. We prefer that it's a cell phone number because it's easier to communicate with students that way, and preferably their own personal cell phone. Their citizenship status is really important for the colleges or universities to know. Emergency contact, family background information, which is typically like the education level of parents. Residency questions, meaning like how long have you been living in Texas, because that'll determine the type of tuition you pay, as well as a good email address. We want to make sure it's professional and it's a good one that you use. Please do not use your CFB one. You need to use one that is your own personal professional email. Background information, they're going to want to know the courses that you're currently taking in your senior year. They also are going to want to know the extracurricular activities that you're involved in. So if you have not made a list yet, it'll be a really good idea to start a list up. If you have any type of community service or volunteer service hours, you definitely want to include that information as well. Talents, awards, honors, anything that you've gotten recognition for, you got to toot your own horn. So you definitely want to include that information. If you have a part-time job, any type of internship you've done, summer activities, this is a time where you want to boast about everything that you're doing while maintaining your coursework to show why you would be the perfect candidate to attend your college or university that you're applying to. All right, so many of the four-year universities will be requiring an essay portion for their application. So right now, because of everything that's going on with COVID, there is something called a holistic review that's taking place. So they're really, really looking at the essays. So you want to make sure that if there's a specific topic that has been given, that they're answering that question. You do not want to have something that is just generic that you're putting out to 5 different universities. If you really want to go to that university, then you really want to put in that effort and, make those applications and make those essays as unique as possible. Test scores. So especially because of COVID happening this year, many schools have extended a test optional policy. So they may not look at the test scores that you're sending in because not many places had that opportunity to complete it. And so some of them, they had plans of taking the SAT or the ACT after spring break. And of course, we know many people, we all didn't go back. And so make sure that the colleges are aware of that. And so you don't have to submit that information. However, for your course placement in college, you still have to have that. So either you need the TSI or you're going to need your SAT or ACT score to determine the college level courses that you will be taking. Letters of recommendation. So if one is required, please make sure that you're putting it in. You're asking your teachers in time. If the school has listed it that it is optional, but it's still definitely a good idea to complete it. Make sure that your child chooses someone that knows them best and that can really, enhance the accomplishments of your child and their work ethic. Give the person that you are wanting as your recommender, time to write the letter, at least 2 weeks, if not 4 weeks, so they have adequate time to write it. Make sure if they can give their resume and any unique information, we want to be able to get that information out, because what the colleges are looking at is just one of 20,000 applications, 30,000 applications. You want to stand out in those applications. So it's really, really important that in order to do that, that you really, truly justify, the people that are doing the letter of recommendation as well as the essays, as we had previously talked about. Interviews and auditions. So keep in mind that while your child can get into the university of their choice, they may have to do a separate application for the college within that university. Some of them may require an interview or an audition, just depending on if it's what's called an impacted major. So it might be used by highly selective programs, like if they are looking at specific music programs, certain majors where, everybody wants to go into that major. So you really want to make sure that if there is an interview or an audition or an additional application that your child is getting taken care of. Many of the colleges, if they are, especially the high-end ones, if they are requiring any type of interview, they are going to be doing virtual interviews, just like we're holding this virtual session, in order to see why you would be a good asset to the college of choice. All right, follow up. You definitely want to make sure that you're able to follow up with anything that the colleges or universities are sending you. So you really need to monitor the email address that you have listed. And you need to check there. You need to check the portals that the colleges and universities have. So that way you're getting the information in that you need by the deadline. In May, you're going to have to submit, if you're planning on living on campus, you got to submit that information. You got to submit your commitment to these colleges. When it comes to financial aid time, which we will talk about later, It's really important that if there's any documents that are missing, you don't want that to be the reason why your application can get rejected. So please make sure your child is looking at the university portals, that they're looking at their email that they used in order to sign up for their accounts. And then make sure that they have submitted their transcript to their college or university as well. That is one of the critical documents that the colleges will absolutely need. Okay, so that was a pretty quick overview on the different things that you need to know about a four-year application.